Welcome to the Smarter Science of Slim, the scientifically proven program where you eat more and exercise less to burn fat and boost health.
Eat smarter, exercise smarter, live better. I am so ready for that.
Hey everyone, Jonathan Bailor and Carrie Brown back with another Smarter Science of Slim podcast. Carrie, what's going on?
Hello, Jonathan.
Hello.
How are you, dear chap?
I am doing very well. We have a new microphone.
We do?
We have a new microphone.
Yippee!
Yay, we like our new microphone.
Black, very black and sexy.
It is sleek
And shiny.
and shiny. We like it. Well, you know what else is sleek and shiny, Carrie? I always try to do these transitions, and some of them work better than others.
And sometimes Carrie just looks at him blankly like, what are you thinking?
Well, what is sleek and shiny is how much better we can look and feel by doing some things that most people would not associate with wellness.
Okay, I like that kind of sleek and shiny.
Because it's like, man, when you do these things, it's just like things start to fall into place. You're feeling good. Like muffin tops start to go away, even though you didn't really change anything about your eating or your exercise. Carrie's like, tell me, sleek and shiny. So a couple things. We've covered these in other podcasts, but I really want to drive them home because I'm not sure they've set in because the way our society is structured. So let me give you a very concrete example, Carrie.
Okay.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay.
Ready.
And this is even, well, no, you wouldn't do this. So I won't use you as an example. So let's say you go into work, water cooler, or you just go somewhere and someone who isn't really your friend, just someone you know, and you tell them, hey, guess what? I woke up at 4 a.m. this morning. 4 a.m. Put on my running shoe. Well, Carrie's like, I'm not sure, whatever. Okay, but it's a fictional story. It's illustrative. I put on my running shoes and I went out and I jogged for 2 hours.
At this point, my eyes would be like the size of dinner plates, and I'd be going, who is this dude?
No, this is you saying this.
I'm saying this?
Yes, that's what I'm saying. That's right.
I'm hyperventilating now.
No, but so imagine you said that to someone at work. What do you think? And assume they didn't know that you're like anti-exercise person. But what would they say? What would they say besides what would generally?
Their eyes would glaze over and they'd go, who is this woman?
Okay, let's not use Carrie as an example, a failed example. For someone who is not like openly on podcast stated that she thinks certain things about exercise, if you, dear listener, were to go into work and were to say these things, most people would probably say, oh my gosh, like, that's amazing. Good job. Like, wow, that's an impressive thing you did. And they'd pat you on the back and they'd be like, yeah, do more of that. That's a good thing. Okay.
I wouldn't be doing that, but yeah.
Shush, Karen. You're ruining it. Now imagine another scenario. So imagine imagine, dear listener, that you came into work the next day or the next week where you overheard someone else and they were like, you know what? I slept in for 2 hours this morning.
Whoop, whoop.
I got an extra 2 hours of sleep. And in fact, for the past week, I've been sleeping more than I ever have in my entire life.
Go you!
Yeah. Except, like, if you said that to your boss, especially, they'd be like, well, I need to give this person more work. I don't know what's going on here. The reason I tell this story is we live in a culture that, in some cases, rewards us for things that are very, very harmful and counterproductive to our fat loss goals, right? Like depriving yourself of sleep. Sleep is therapeutic. Like, we're only starting to understand how people say they're sleep deprived. Like you know, if you listen to this podcast, you know how not eating food is poisonous. Like it is. It will kill you, right? Like if you don't eat food for long enough, you die. If you don't sleep long enough for a long enough period of time, your body will make you fall asleep. But conceptually, if that didn't happen, you would also die. Like being sleep starved is as detrimental to your health as not breathing, as not eating, as not drinking. It is a fundamental human need.
Go sleep.
So go sleep. And the reason that's so important, Carrie, is it's so under our radar, like it's so not at the forefront of our mind how important sleep is, that I just recently made this connection, right? We continue to get questions from a great deal of our listeners, are wonderful, brilliant, beautiful women who are premenopausal, going through menopause, or postmenopausal. And they have expressed that maintaining the body shape they want now seems way harder than it's ever been in their entire life.
Amen.
And what I also hear consistently is that getting a good night's sleep is very, very hard for these individuals. So now there's two things happening. Is it because you're a certain age that you can't lose weight? Could it be because you're sleeping 4 hours a night? Like, I don't care what age you are. If you sleep 4 hours a night, you are going to cause hormonal chaos in your body. I'm not saying this is like to blame anyone, but I'm just saying, like, here's how it's sad. It's heartbreaking.
This is how it works.
This is how it works. But it's heartbreaking because here you have my mother, who is, I'm gonna try even harder with my eating. Like, I'm gonna just, and she's not, cutting calories, things like that. She knows better. But even she's taking the smarter approach. She's like, I'm eating non-starchy vegetables. I'm eating nutrient-dense proteins. I'm eating whole food fats. I'm eating low fructose fruits. I'm doing my eccentric exercise. I'm trying to take 10,000 steps a day. I'm like, that's all. And then just imagine if she was like, but I can't breathe. I'd be like, wait, Mom, you can't breathe? Like, none of that stuff matters. If you can't get enough air into your lungs, it doesn't matter. And we need to start seeing sleep that way. Like, if you need to prioritize stuff, this is going to sound odd coming from me, right? Like, people say, water, foundational, because if you don't drink, like, air, obviously priority number one, right? You don't breathe, you die in 5 minutes or something like that, 2 minutes, whatever it is. Then you've got, if you think about how quickly you would be debilitated, water would be next. Then, like, you can go 30 days without eating. If you went 30 days without sleeping, you would die. Like, the body will make that not happen. You will just collapse. There's studies been done. I forget the longest anyone's ever stayed awake, but then you become delusional. You start seeing things like
crazy making.
You literally go crazy because your body knows. It's like running a car till it's completely out of gas and red lines and just like, your body won't let that happen. But think about that, right? Air, water, sleep, and then food. Forget about it. Exercise is like down on the other. It's like way, like if we're on a football field, we've got like these things down here on one goal line, and then exercise is like way down on the other goal line.
Breathe, Jonathan, breathe. You remember that thing that was, wow, you're excited.
But think about that. Think about the maybe weird analogy I gave earlier of Sally walks into the office, talks about how she stole 2 hours away from her already sleep-deprived life to go add more stress through exercise. That, please don't do that. Like, that's all I can say. Please don't do that.
You tease me for going whoop whoop for sleep, but that's where it's at.
And also, like, I could certainly imagine lovely listeners saying, okay, great, now you made me feel bad that I'm not sleeping enough. Thanks. So, like, what do I do about it? At a macro level, think, because the inability to sleep, I'm not a sleep expert, but I too have quite a bit of struggles. As you can tell, I'm kind of a
driven
and passionate individual, so it's hard to turn that off. But the idea, and I have as much trouble with this as anyone else. I don't carry probably in the same boat. It's not always about like trying harder and doing more, and like a Stephen Covey would say, like you're trying to saw down a tree and you're just like saw, and like the blade is completely worn down. It's like rubbing the dull end of a butter knife against the tree, but you're just like, oh, I just need to saw harder. Yeah. What you need to do, and what you would get so much better results by doing, take a step back, sharpen the saw, 7th of the 7 habits of highly effective people, and then just go back to cutting the tree. So the way I've found, for me personally, sleep becomes easier is when my mindset gets a little bit more along the, like it's the global paradigm we've talked about, Carrie, of working with your body rather than against it. Like this whole idea of like, fall asleep, you idiots. Like that's the whole like working against the body. But if you had time in the evening to wind down and you felt organized and in control of your life and these other, and you're working and you're much more zen and peaceful, and then you fall gracefully asleep. And it's, again, easier said than done, but if you're doing double shots of espresso and 5-hour energy and checking email until 10:30 at night, it's going to be hard to fall asleep.
It's that blue light. Computer screens, blue light keeps you awake.
So again, we're not experts here on how to get sleep. There's been massive amount of research done on ways you can enhance your sleep, calming techniques, Zen techniques.
Our point is just get more sleep.
Get more sleep. And in fact, don't feel bad about it. That's the other challenge, though, is that if you get more exercise, some people who in your life who may be poisonous might be like, well, exercise, why do you think you're better than me? But generally speaking, people are like, oh, good job. Was that your New Year's resolution to exercise more? If you say my New Year's resolution is to sleep more, people will laugh in your face. And that's
Except
wrong.
Me. I'll be cheering you on. I'll be going, yay, sleep.
But so that's why I really want to celebrate this. So literally, so we're recording this on the 12th of September, so it will likely air before the new year. I would encourage you to make your New Year's resolution to sleep more. If you are not getting at least minimum 7 hours of sleep a night. So that means like if you get up at 5 a.m., you need to be asleep by 10 p.m., right? If you get up at 6 a.m., sleep by 11. You can all do math. But the reason I say that is if you're committed and you say, I'm going to sleep more, then instead of spending an hour at the gym doing cardio, maybe you spend an hour doing research on the internet about how to sleep better and how to, maybe you start doing yoga, maybe you start doing Tai Chi, maybe you start doing these restorative activities we talk about in previous podcasts because they help to quiet your mind, they help to quiet your soul, they help to calm us down, especially us Americans. Calm. Like, it's not P90X all the time. Calm. Sleep.
I'm so on this train.
Work
Mr.
with your
Bailor.
body.
However, let me note, people, that I do not sleep a lot either. It's something I struggle with. But I totally get why it's more important. And I am also working on getting more sleep. Because 6 hours, I'm so done with 6 hours. I'm like, all right, I'm ready, off we go. But I understand now more so that that's not necessarily the healthiest way to be.
And let's talk a bit about, so we talked about like just why this is important emotionally, physiologically, what's going on here when you don't sleep enough. So one of the most conspicuous things that's been shown in studies is the hormones associated with, so there's two things, right? Oftentimes, so if we're exceedingly hungry, if you're starving, the chance of you making a smart food choice is much lower than if you're not starving. In addition to that, if you are in emotional distress, had a long day at work, it's much harder to stay sane, right? So if you are extremely hungry, it's hard to be sane. And if you're extremely stressed, it's hard to be sane.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Agreed.
Yes, we are very agreed on that.
When you don't sleep, that is a huge stressor on your body. You may not feel stressed, but just like, for example, if you were to drive your car at 130 miles an hour without stopping, your little engine temperature gauge, it's going to get into the red. Like, things need time to recuperate. So if you don't give them time to recuperate, it will compound over time and you become extremely stressed. Things like your cortisol levels, thyroid hormone, blah, 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 sex hormones, all that stuff starts to get out of whack. And because of that, you're in this huge state of stress that drives your emotional state becomes like it would be if you had any other stress in life, right? Like, your body doesn't really differentiate. It's just stress. I am just stress. I just release these hormones. So that makes it very hard to make smart choices in life.
Yes.
Food or anything else.
Yes.
Then our hormones that control hunger, so leptin, ghrelin, things like that, these become horribly dysregulated when we, and this is conspicuous in studies. So that which literally, let's say it would take 2,000 sane calories to make you totally full and satisfied on a day you are well rested. If you are not well rested, it won't. That same number of calories literally will not satisfy you, because the hormones whose job it is to tell your brain I'm satisfied are dysregulated. Like we talk about, diabetes is hormonal dysregulation. Long term, when you don't sleep, you cause short term hormonal dysregulation. So think about it almost as the clog. It's like a short term clog. The clog is a metaphor we generally use. It's something that builds up over time. If you are sleep deprived, you are essentially creating like a little mini clog. So you are stressed, which will cause you to want to make poor quality food choices in the first place. And then you will be hungrier than you should be or need to be, because your hunger system is broken. So now you have someone who is predisposed to making insane food choices, who needs more food in general to not feel like they're starving. So do we gain weight because our weight regulation hormones get all out of whack when we don't sleep, but then we're set up separately. So it's like a double whammy,
right,
to make terrible food choices, which compound that problem.
Right.
So you can start to see how if you're not sleeping enough and you're like, but I'm just going to try harder with my diet. It's like trying to run faster with a parachute strapped to your back. Like, you'd be better served just cutting the parachute off your back, or like trying to drive faster in your car with your foot on your brake. If you're not sleeping enough, you can push the accelerator of your body as much as you want by exercising more and eating smarter or eating less if you're in the old model. Until you take your foot off the brake, aka you sleep more, you're just going to burn your engine out. Boom, the analogy worked. What do you think about the analogy, Carrie?
I think I need a nap.
Well, talking about sleep at this level of energy and intensity for this duration of time has also caused me to need a nap, as evidenced by my vocal cracking that just happened.
You're funny.
Sleeping!
No, but I must say that I now never go to bed hungry, ever, because I've learned, if I go to bed hungry, I'm going to wake up. I'm going to wake up in the middle of the night, and then my sleep, even if I do manage to get back to sleep afterwards, it's not the restorative sleep that I need.
Brilliant concrete example, Carrie. If you, and please don't do this because this would demonstrate the calorie myths on a macro scale, but people do this, right? It's 8 p.m., whatever, 10 p.m. People are hungry. They're like, well, I can't eat because if I eat past 6 o'clock, which we talked about in a previous podcast, bad things will happen. Plus, it's more calories. And of course, if I eat calories, I'll get fat. So they don't eat those foods. And then they sleep poorly. And
that does all that you just
yes.
told us that it would do.
So you could, but see, this is sometimes sounds like bad news. This is amazing news. Like what we just said is actually, no, eat that and sleep more.
Yes.
Eat more, sleep more.
I love that.
Exercise less, eat more, sleep more. Glorious.
I love podcasting with you.
And doesn't it make sense? I mean, but
you
again,
have the best news every week. It's good news.
And folks, hopefully it makes sense, right? Like when we eat more of the right kinds of foods, we do all kinds of hormonal goodness. When we do less but smarter exercise, we cause all kinds of hormonal goodness. And when we sleep more, we cause all kinds of hormonal goodness. And I realize that's the opposite of what we've been told But don't we want the opposite of what we've gotten?
Yes, we do, because we do know, and we're all very sure that that doesn't work. We know that.
And if you doubt it, here's the answer. Try it. Try, just on a whim, try getting 8 hours of sleep, eating more but smarter, and exercising less but smarter for 7 days. I guarantee you that you will feel and look better than you ever have from stressing out, sleeping less, starving yourself, and exercising obsessively.
I love it. I'm in.
Sign me up.
I'm all in.
I love it. Carrie, I'm ready to eat more, exercise less, and to sleep more.
Me too. Time for a nap.
Well, folks, remember, this week and every week after, do just what we said. Eat more, exercise less, sleep more, and live better. Chat with you soon.
Bye.
Wait, don't stop listening yet.
You can get fabulous free SANE recipes over at carriebrown.com.
And don't forget your 100% free eating and exercise quick start program, as well as free, fun, daily tips delivered right into your inbox at bailorgroup.com. That's Bailor group.com.